You are watching The Horizon, the voice of the Amba woman, exclusively on ABC Amba TV.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to The Horizon, the voice of the Amba woman. This is a new month, and we are grateful to be here today to talk about happenings in and out for recognition. With me today is Dr. Yaya, our guest on The Horizon, the voice of the Amba woman. Dr. Yaya, it's great to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Mape. Happy new month to you and to Ambazonia and the entire world, our sympathizers and watchers of our program, The Horizon. It's a new month. We're optimistic. We're marching to Boya, so it's great to be here as usual.
Thank you so much. Incidentally, you are next door to me today, right?
Feels like it.
You're next door. Well, I will say this. Welcome to Los Angeles, because I know that you're not at your base today. So it's a pleasure doing this show with you. I know that there's a lot going on in our journey right now. So we'll just go with the flow and talk about things that are happening. But before I do that, I want to extend greetings to all those who are watching from the home front, from ground one, and all over the diaspora. I want to say special salute, particularly to the our Ambazonian State Army for continuously defending our territory, defending our people. And I also want to reflect that so much has happened. We've lost so many lives for the past, since 2016, 2017, that people should not forget that these are lives gone and never to come back. Dr. Yaya, we're going to just talk about the current state and then also reflect on what has gone in the past. What I want to touch today particularly is the recent indictment of one of our supposedly Ambazonians. I don't know whether he was an Amazonian really, but we'll talk briefly about that. We'll talk about the upcoming Atlantic draft that is tomorrow, May 3rd, and other things that are relevant at this time. So I'll give you a minute to just greet everyone, and then we'll proceed.
Thank you once again, Mape, fellow viewers from around the world, especially from Homefront, and our refugees, our prisoners of war, and our comrades in the diaspora. Greetings to you all from wherever you're watching. It's always a pleasure being on this program. So let's hit on because of time purposes.
Time.
So
yes, exactly. So let me start with one thing that I think this is important, because I got calls from so many people concerned about the news that hit the airwaves, that a Cameroonian man indicted for conspiracy to provide material support to armed separatists fighting to murder, kidnap, and maim individuals in Cameroon, and for making threats. This was Friday, April 25th, 5. That's a week ago. And I'm going to read briefly, and then we're going to comment on this. The subtitle is Raise Funds to Supply AK-47 to Separatist Groups. A federal grand jury in Baltimore returned an indictment yesterday charging a Cameroonian national residing in Maryland, Eric Tato, also known as the Gary Master 38 of Gainsburg, Maryland, with conspiring to provide material support to armed separatist militias in Cameroon and threatening violence against Cameroonian civilians. He surrendered and will make his initial court appearance before the U.S. Magistrate Judge J. Mac Coulson today. According to court documents, multiple armed and violent secessionist groups in the northwest and southwest region of Cameroon are fighting to form a new country called Ambazonian. The armed separatist militias sought to achieve secession by not only attacking the Cameroonian military, but also intentionally attacking the civilian population in Cameroon in an attempt to force the Cameroon government into allowing these regions to secede. The separatist fighters are frequently referred to as Amber Boys. I'm going to end here right now because there are a lot of things in this paragraph that may be misconstrued, and that's why people are afraid. First of all, they talk about a group of people that want to secede. Is that what you think the Ambazonia is about? Are we a people that are trying to secede? Let's attack this little by little.
Definitely not. That's the or disinformation spread by La République du Cameroun, and all of this was easy for them to do because they actually deprived us of our history. You and I know we never studied the history of Cameroon. We were busy studying some strange history that didn't really concern us. Of course, it's important to be aware about what's happening in the world, but you cannot start knowing about the world when you don't even know who you are. So that was intentional to disconnect us from our true identity and making the agenda, paving the way for their agenda to assimilate, to conquer, and assimilate very easily. So that is false. Thank God, because of this struggle, a lot of us are learning basics of our history, and we realize that we have been duped, we have been tricked, we have been manipulated into being assimilated or colonized again by a neighboring brother, black on black colonization, which is unheard of. So we came in as two entities into a union of equality. So we had our different governments. We had independence or supposed independence on different dates, and therefore we came on an agreement to be a federation, and a federal constitution was supposed to be drafted, which was never done. The follow-up never happened. The key players who were the colonial masters, or so to say trustee overseers, the UK, in Great Britain and France, this process wasn't completed, and it just ended up in a sham. And that was all calculated in order for La République du Cameroun to assimilate the Southern Cameroons instead of us being on par as equal partners. And that is why our president, a very, very visionary and focused president, realized that this naming that we have acquired in the course of this revolution since 2016 of the interim government was actually not the smartest idea. However, a revolution is what it is, and we keep on changing, adapting. So it is not a mistake, it is an evolution, just like what is expected to happen in revolutions. We keep on changing, adapting to the times. So he in his wisdom and that of his advisors, the closest advisors, they thought it would be wise. This government had existed. This government existed from 1954 till 1960. Bear with me if I make a mistake, but probably over 6 years. Yeah, and we had transition of power, through four hands, four prime ministers, without any bloodshed. So that tells you we are a people who can self-govern. We have self-governed. We have proven this over the test, over time, and we came as a government. So now he restored that government. And so we don't understand when people force around and say, oh, we shouldn't have had a government while in a revolution. We did not create this government. We are restoring what had existed. So in his infinite wisdom, he did that. And that is the scare of La Republique. They never want to be pulled back to this historical fact that we were once a people who governed themselves. And we came on the table of so-called a federation as equal parties, not as one subjugating other. We did not come as an underdog, to be assimilated by La République du Cameroun, as has been the practice over the past 60 years. So I may have gone out of topic, but redirect me, please.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's all important information. And so, in a nutshell, really, based on what you've said, La République du Cameroun is the one that seceded, right? Seceded.
Correct.
Because, yes. Go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, you're bringing me back to my thoughts. That's correct. So this was in 1972. That was the Fumban Conference that had to set the ball rolling for a federal republic of Cameroon. However, the paperwork and all the details of the constitutional changes to adopt a federal constitution was never really followed through, and everything just fell within the woods. And later on, I don't have the dates exactly. So think about it this way. It's like two people coming into a business partnership. My name is A, your name is B. And we say, let us have a name for our business, which is a partnership with 50-50 participation. That's what it is. It is 50-50. It's not 75-25, as they have made us think over the years. And then we create a name for us. We say AB Business GmbH. For example, the name is AB GmbH, okay? And then somewhere along the line, somebody A chooses to drop off one part of the name, like we left from a federal republic, federal, remember what it means, to United Republic, okay? And without any consultation. I don't think there was any consultation. And later on, I think 1982, now to
La République, the Republic.
Yeah, La République du Cameroun, which is the name that you had. It's like your maiden name before you got married, or it is the A or the B part before we came into union of AB GmbH. So who has left the union? It is you who left the union. Yeah. But in their mind, they are not leaving the union. They thought they are assimilating us. They thought B was so inconsequential, doesn't have any identity. Let's just crush them. Start by, dissolving their institutions, the mobile force, you name them, Power Camp, and all those institutions that we brought in as a self-governing people. They were systematically dissolved, and that was intentional. Particularly the military force, which was then the mobile police, because a people without a nation, or a people without a fighting force or a defense force, you're practically lame. And so they disarmed us and then assimilated us. According to them, they were not leaving the union. They had simply absorbed us into the union and made us their slaves. But it won't work, because this generation is alert and alive. And thanks to God, he opened our eyes before that history really would have died and would have been buried. Because unfortunately, the young generation nowadays, they are so oblivious to what is happening. Partly, I may not blame them, because they grew up in this falsehood of Cameroonese culture. Speaking French is an in thing, is actually something to be proud of, and not the other way around. So they have lost it because they have no connection. So
okay, yes, thank you so much for bringing us back to that. Yes, they left us. Yeah. So let me read on a little bit, because there's more to really talk about from this indictment notice. The Justice Department will not tolerate those who help murder, maim, and kidnap, said Sue Bai, head of the Justice Department's National Security Division. We will continue to hold accountable those who aim to turn American soil into a staging ground for political violence abroad. Now, this phrase is really, it could scare some individuals, right? We will continue to hold accountable those who aim to turn American soil into a staging ground for political violence abroad. Now, previous to that, they did call the separatist fighters are frequently referred to as Amba Boys. Let's talk about this Amba Boys, because when you hear the word Amba Boys, there's a negative connotation to that, right? Dr. Yaya, you hear me? When you
Yes,
hear
I can hear
Amba
you.
Boys,
Sorry.
there's a negative connotation to that.
Yeah.
Our Ambazonian State Army are those individuals working under the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, the government, to defend our territory. They are not individuals called Amber Boys who have the tendency to do horrific things to our people. So just shed a light a little bit, Doctor, how people should differentiate the right people working for our quest and those who are just vigilantes, those who are just doing horrific things, the rogues out there. How do we differentiate these two individuals?
Right. In any struggle like this, we know that propaganda is one of the greatest tools used, especially by the oppressor, to quench or to quell down the enthusiasm of the struggle. And that's one of the tricks La République is using. Ambazonia is the name of our new nation, also known as the Southern Cameroons or the former British Southern Cameroons. Now, sometimes we always abbreviate. We could say Amba is the abbreviation for Ambazonia. But unfortunately, like you're saying, this catchphrase now, Amba Boys, is almost has a negative connotation to it. And more so, again, it is all intentional. I think people like, what do you call this very silly, dumb man, Atanganji, propagated this, this notion of Amber Boys, the boys is in the bushes, being not even able to speak English, although he stems from the Southern Cameroons, a slave to La République, unfortunately. So, because everything that happens now just thrown on Amber Boys, and I think that is really unfortunate, and it is also silly of our own people. I will blame them because they know who are thieves, they know who are just some rogue idle boys that are keeping themselves busy and making themselves rich, and they know who are the true freedom fighters. We cannot minimize people who have sacrificed their livelihood, sacrificed their comfort, sacrificed the joy of living in a normal family. Their wives and their children are suffering and making all these sacrifices, and just give them a silly name called Amber Boys. In real terms, if Amber stands for Ambazonia, they are not, first of all, boys, because we have women who are also fighters. So we call them, as a government, we respect those who actually do this sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice for a free nation that they may never live to see. And again, in the infinite wisdom of our president, Dr. Samuel Ikome Sako, he gave them the rightful name, our Ambazonian State Army. Yes, because they are fighting for the freedom of Ambazonia. Now, any thief or rascal or idle person, and even groups, most of these people they call Amber Boys, those groups are created by La République du Cameroun. That right. It is not a secret. Even in the days of apartheid, when with the white supremacy government, killing and molesting black people, they actually engineered the Buthelezi group was created or engineered by the white government, but put out there as, look at you black people, you're fighting against each other. It is the same right. trick. So people listen, watch history. I witnessed apartheid. I was there on the 11th of February, 1980 something, 82, when Mandela was released. So it is not too long ago. We saw all these things. So Ambazonia is not different. It is the same manipulation that is happening now. That these old dead but live dummy, whatever he's called, Paul Biya, has gone and flushed money into wherever, into our region, and saying that youths are supporting him. How ridiculous! What is the salary of an average worker, a civil servant in that country, in Cameroon, so to say? that they will have extra to go and give
5
to Paul
million.
Biya
Mhm.
to for
Yeah.
for let's use common sense. Sometimes I have people asking some questions. To me, it's very annoying, and that is because they are not involved in the struggle. You don't pay attention, and you just choose to get those silly highlights. Of course, people can, we have different levels of understanding about the struggle. But let me say this: our freedom fighters are called Ambazonian State Army. And if you listen to the president each time he addresses the nation or at any of our meetings, he says that to our ASA, that is the short form. So please, to us, people of the extraction of the Southern Cameroons, stop using the word Amber Boys. I do too, but instinctively. And then it quickly rings a bell that, oh no, this is sending the wrong signal. Our Ambazonian State Army are people who are we're sort of on a contract with them. The president said that in our last very successful first stakeholders meeting for this year. We do not own these state forces because we are not really on the ground. So we work in alliance. We align with them. We do not own them like some individuals who have taken upon themselves to be warlords, and sending messages, instructing people, registering their, I don't know what to call it, associations or institutions, whatever to call it, in the diaspora, and sending messages down to the ground for people to be killed, to be butchered, to be displayed at public places. That is irresponsibility. Like the president said, even in war, there are regulations in war. We have the Geneva convention that exactly that stipulates how war, even in war, that certain rules and regulations should be kept. Of course, Ambazonia is not an exception. Every other country probably has broken these laws, but people should know that they shall be accountable for their actions. You cannot hide under the umbrella of fighting for Ambazonia and want to bring down the entire Ambazonia. If you took an action, be ready to pay the price. And so the president is saying to all these, indictments and recent things, this is not even main news. I think the main news I want to really bring to our people is that our struggle is really, really on a good footing. We are doing well. We are advancing in the right direction. So we are victorious. Please don't be discouraged. This is the trick of the enemy. Remember, propaganda is their number one tool. They have to conquer your mind. They have to put you in a state of doubt. They have to make you lose faith in the struggle. But do not, because we are really moving forward, and they will always find such distractions to tear us apart, to create doubt and mistrust. So what the president, the way he looks at all this so-called Gary Master indictment, these are individuals who sat on TV, took your money, raised money, you gave them this money, and they will say, go and Gary this person, meaning go and kill this person. This is not what the struggle is about. The president clearly says this, and we know that as humans, we cannot be fighting to free our people, yet we are the ones killing our people. It makes no sense. Right. But these are individuals who made themselves from nowhere, created jobs for themselves, by becoming warlocks and causing disaster to our people. And today, they thought they were free, they were, how do you call this? Indispensable or untouchable. And they could do whatever because a lot of money has touched their hands. And this same individual, this tattoo of a guy, is this not the guy who was, Bishop Keya came and blessed him or something like that? So let us put the connections together, please. And again, this part of this machinery to confuse our people is using vulnerable spots like religion and culture. All these, I am a Christian. I believe in God. But I totally acknowledge the role that religion plays in politics, and that can be detrimental. We've seen it over time in history. And I'm sorry to say that some of our religious leaders are playing this diabolic role, whether they know it or not. I've never seen a generation where bishops and archbishops spend most of their time in overseas. In the days when we used to know Cardinal Tumi, Bishop Vetikov, he never went abroad. But this is a man who influences people by truly bringing the word of God to his people on the ground. There's a lot to do at home. Why are they traveling overseas every 2 months, every 3 months? Because they are being sponsored by La Republique to go and preach peace. What do you call peace? What is the cause of the lack of peace? Yeah. So if you do not address the reason why there's no peace in the first place, you're being hypocritical. So these are the kind of people, the bishop comes and blesses somebody like Eric Tato, the so-called Gary master, who stands and proclaims the killing, the butchering, the garring of our people. So who is doing what? Who is fooling who? So please, the president said it very clear in that stakeholders meeting. Don't be afraid. The arrest or the indictment of certain individuals is actually a purification of our struggle. It is not condemning our struggle because this government is well respected, and he reassured us that no one in the government should be afraid of any attacks because our government is responsible in its approach. A war is not fought by being reckless. It is fought through strategy, like he says, through responsible actions, and not by recklessness. So individuals are paying the price for their individual actions. That does not involve the entire Ambazonia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aya. That's really a lot of information, and I hope our people there's a peace of mind listening to all this information. One thing is certain, that we are a government. We have the federal level and we have the local level. And if you find yourself outside of this government and you're working as a rogue, as an individual, then the chances that you're going to get into trouble escalates, because this is what happened to people like Eric Tato and so-called leaders without followers like the Cho Ayaba. Because I don't know, I think at one time he had a lot of followers, but because of what he started doing, people left him. So the safest thing for you listening to this program, for every Southern Cameroonian Ambazonian, is to go work at the level of your local government, your county, and the federal government, and you will not be in this position where you'll be a threat to you will feel threatened by the United States of America or any other government. I'm going to move on and talk about something else. The consultative commission that had a meeting in Ghana, and I was going to read something, but I don't think I even have it ready.
That's okay.
But
You can just talk.
yes, but you know that a bunch of individuals, and some of those individuals were members of the government. So let me just break it down if I remember. You have Cometa, who was part of the interim government when we are an
Was
interim, when
he?
we have, well, he was part of the interim government when we were interim government. Cometa, he was the what second, was the what chairperson of the then
Okay.
Restoration Council, right? You
Oh,
have
yes. Okay.
you have Yeremia, who was also part of our government under President Sako. He was in the cabinet. You have
Yes.
Marianta, who was also part of the education. I think she was the Undersecretary of Education. You
Yeah.
have Chris Ano, who was the Communication Secretary. So those four individuals out of, I think, a group of seven went to Ghana. The other people were two other names. There was um, Akwanga and two other people that were not part of our government from the beginning. So they went to Ghana for whatever meeting, claiming that they're trying to get Ambazonia on the right path for liberation. The question is, the breakaway when Cometa left and made Chris Ano or made Marianta the president of their interim government, and then Chris Ano came after that. So now you have a Chris Ano faction and a Marianta faction. So, and all these individuals are not really doing anything. They don't have any ASA. They don't have any people defending the territory. What exactly are they doing? What do you think, Dr. Yaya?
I think they are news, they are headline seekers, like the president describes them. They are retirees of the struggle and seek lines. It's as simple as that. You know, anyone can meet. For example, we met yesterday. We were like 5 of us. We could just go sign a paper and say this. Anybody can sign a paper. What does that mean? It is not the first time they've signed these papers. They've signed it in Canada. They signed it in the Grand National Dialogue. They signed it somewhere in Vietnam, I hear. Who knows where the next place, whether it's in Vanuatu or wherever. They can do anything in space. But the thing is, do they have the leverage? Do they have the legitimacy? The president said again in this very, very successful stakeholders meeting, look, leaders, legitimacy is not earned. It's not just by, you don't get it by signing papers. It is earned. It is earned. And this government has earned the legitimacy of the people. It's been there for over the years, regardless whether we call it interim or whatever, but we've proven to the Ambazonian people that we are truly a government with structures and a fighting force to defend our territory in the setup. It is in the current setting, in the current dispensation. And so these individuals are runaways, they are retirees who have a lot to account for to the Ambazonian people, because most of them have stolen money, or at least have misappropriated money, starting with Chris Anu, Marianta and her, what's this thing called, Unmask, in connection or in liaison with the Hope Relief Foundation, that was supposed to be government property, but now forcefully owned by Dr. Tita, with unaccounted accounts. See, Ambazonian, a lot of these people run away because they fear judgment, but there's time for that. We're going to come to that. Anybody who is sitting on Ambazonians' money, you will never have peace, because a mother has died, a grandmother has died, a child has been fried. People have, a pregnant woman's belly has been cut open, okay? And you're sitting on that money, you're building your houses in Africa, in West Africa, you are sponsoring your family to live a good life. You shall never have peace until you really come back and confess to the people of Amazonia. And the president even said that with this indictment. Sometimes people think, they just think in the moment, I'm doing fine, I have 10,000 views, and therefore I'm fine. This is Eric Tato, who said every terrible thing about the president, did as much to disrupt this government as he did, had whether it's National Telegram. The president asked, where is National Telegram today? So in the morning, they criticize us. By noonday, they have disappeared into thin air. So these envelopes they give them, this blood money, this thing cannot sustain them. They can pretend to buy these big houses. At some point, they will even run out of paying the mortgage. And look, karma is a bitch. It will catch up on all of them. So I want to first give a description of these 4 people. One, they are runaways, and they run away with money, sitting on Ambazonia's money. I don't care whether the idea was yours. If you bring up an idea to raise funds and you use the name Ambazonia, it's not your personal money. Because you brought the idea of Unmask or whatever. So many people have different ideas that they have brought, but it is for the good of Ambazonia, and therefore that money becomes public property. So all of these people are thieves. Straightforward, they are thieves, and they are running away from accountability. Okay, now they stand there in the name of United, what Pact, or whatever they call themselves. Is that not hypocritical? Chris Anu at some point said, there's nothing existent like Ambazonia, we don't have a flag, this, that, I'm not a president, I'm a comrade. Yet he signs a document with the same name, Ambazonia, with a flag there. And I'm asking myself, are you so dumb? and okay, Marianta and Tita were the president and vice president, or was it the other way around? Yeah, Tita was the then president and Marianta vice, before Tita left and spun to her side and now has spun somewhere else, God knows. God knows. So anyway, they say they are united and they are collaborating. If truly the president said, sorry, I have to keep quoting this man. He is such a wise man. He said, you cannot claim to unite without reconciling. Then that's just unity on paper. And when people are forced to do that, know that there's an engineering force behind it. There's money. There's something that is triggering them. How can Chris and Maranta stand there? Why don't they then come under one umbrella? They started under one umbrella. Yeah. If they think this government was so bad, they split from the government. It wasn't even 4 months. We are having another set of presidents. Come on, it's ridiculous. So please don't believe in these rogue wannabes, as the president calls them. They are camera leaders. Who are they leading? Please, when we have a meeting with this interim government, do you see the Zoom? Do you see how much we raise at the drafts? Come tomorrow at the draft. In fact, let's talk about serious business. These guys are really they are not serious. What happened in Canada? Why after Canada there is Ghana, after Ghana there will be something else. So La Republique will keep on pushing money. The whole intention is to bring down this government. You see those rogues standing there, none of them, they are not collaborating. It's just on paper. Their only collaboration is to bring down Dr. Sako and the government. And of course, they will never succeed. Because Mandela said the one war that you will never succeed is when you fight against your people. That's the thing that hasn't gotten in their head. This government is not Dr. Sako. It is the people of Ambazonian. And that is a whole force on its own. You cannot beat that as an individual. I don't care whether you come with your skills, you think you have so much money, and you can rule the world like some narcissistic personalities do think, the recent coup plotters who just broke away. You cannot beat a people. So if that's what you think you can do, please just go. Either you retire or quietly or come back apologetically through your LGA and start doing the right things. And the right things are to draft, to align with the vision and the policies of the government. If you disagree, give constructive criticism. We are not saying that we are stooges. We say yes to the president all the time. No, there are things we don't disagree, we don't agree all the time. But don't be
let me have you pause. Let me pause you right there, because you're going to a topic that I wanted us to talk briefly about, and I think if I bring it up in a particular way, you can shed more light. And I think this is the president's wisdom, even before the end of the year, when he decided to ask for that reconciliation committee to dig into things, to listen to people. And the goal was to have reconciliation before unity, as you put it there. But I needed to just talk briefly on this, because this our journey. We've had people drop off along the way, maybe because they are tired, or maybe because they don't have the finances to help, or maybe because they're seeking power and they're not getting power for whatever reason. But the president said two things: criticism versus sabotage. Criticism versus sabotage. I needed to address that so that people that are really listening to us understand how relevant this is for this quest of independence.
Right. Thank you, Mape, for really getting my thoughts in a collected way. Thank you. One gets emotional sometimes when we're on this topic. Exactly. We, as the people of Southern Cameroon, it is actually in our nature. This is one of our characteristics, that we can speak through truth to power. People can stand up and tell their leader, no, this is not really right. You should do this. You can do it this way and this and that. And that is constructive. And that is democracy. That is, in a broad sense of it, listening to different opinions, but at the same time, giving him that space, that respect to chew what you are all throwing at him. Remember, there are 8 million opinions coming left, right, center. If you then give an opinion or you make a suggestion, it must not be followed through. And that is not because you're being despised, but because that is the responsibility of the leader, to take all of this, put it into perspective, and try to make the best decision that is good for Ambazonia. Not good for you or for him or for the next person, but for Ambazonia in the long haul. So sometimes our ideas or our suggestions may not be followed through, but that shouldn't be taken personally, and that gives you now room to say, yes, I proposed this, he didn't listen, and therefore I'm going to destroy him, I'm going to destroy the government, I will release this secret, whatever secrets they are, and things like that. That is childishness, and this is now sabotage. There's constructive criticism you can say, and he says he welcomes that. You call him, tell him this is my idea, or you can write through your leaders. We have a structure. You can talk through your LGA or county chair to send that through, or any government official if you think you need help with that kind of a communication, or reach out to through your honorable your member of the House of Parliament. House House of Assembly. Yes.
House
Sorry,
Assembly.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So, pass those things through, make sets of proposals. You can put them in writing and say, Mr. President, please consider this. And this can be discussed in our APP meetings. There are so many forums to put these things through, and it shall be deliberated. But please, that is not an order. It's not an executive order that I propose this. Many times I've made my proposals to the president and they are not followed through, but at least they are considered. He thinks through because he gets these inputs from so many people. If we were to just take your one opinion and make a decision, imagine we'll have 8,000 conflicting decisions in one day. So please, let's be responsible. All of us are adults. We are in workplaces. We know how institutions run. It is not easy to manage human beings. And therefore, it's not about you. The people that have this problem are people who deal with some pathological egos. Because I don't see why, if my opinion is not taken, but it is considered, at least we've had a discussion, I have to use that to punish the system. And who are you punishing, by the way? You're not punishing President Sako. Mm-hmm. He's also said something in his in this last stakeholders meeting. He said, heroes are not perfect, which means that the leaders, he listed a few, Mandela, Sankara, Martin Luther King, they are not perfect. But why are they remembered till the end of time? Because they sacrificed their comfort for the cause of people they may never even live to meet, for children yet unborn, And he said, if you criticize your heroes, meaning these leaders who sacrifice their time and give everything to free a people, therefore you never love the victim. So my plea to these people with massive egos and sick egos, it's not about you. Think about sacrifice being the stupid one whose idea was not taken, but for a greater good. That is what makes you a hero. It's not about the comfort of thinking a whole resource mobilizer who brings billions, and I have 10 billion donors. How can my idea not be put through? A whole me who is a billionaire, I give 10,000 to the president, or I buy this, I buy that. How can my idea not be taken? No, it's not about you. When you sit and think about what this cause is about, it's about people you may never live to see. We may never live to see Buea, but it is my joy to know that I was part of a cause that freed the people. So that's his message.
Absolutely.
Some of these people may need psychiatric and psychological counseling. It is not an insult. It is serious, because they're really sick the way they perceive the world and think that they are some demigods. No, there's no demigod in this struggle. The demigod is really our sacrifice, our humility, and persistence till we get to Buea. If we're not in Buea, nothing has happened.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, this has been a wonderful show. Unfortunately, I have to make it short today because of other things going on. I really want to thank you, Dr. Yaya. Take this moment and invite our people to the next draft that is coming up tomorrow.
Yes, dear people, after all these talks and distractions, as we call them, the main thing is actually performing your civic duty as a true revolutionary to propel us to Buea. We don't want to prolong this suffering. This suffering can be prolonged by all these people who break away, they distract us, they do all of this. But we as a government, we are focused. And the president tells us we are in the best place that we could be. We are doing well. Our ASAs are understanding the difference between the sheep and the what do you call the fox, those who play the tricks, because before they were confused because they used to mix up all these names. Like Mape said, they were all members of the government. So we hope that at the level of the LGAs and the counties, that we educate our Ambazonian State Army to know the gimmicks of these thieves and be able to differentiate, who is who. Don't think that who was there last year is the same today. People change, and they have changed, and they will still change. So please keep your ears on the ground, listen to the president, attend the Zoom meetings, and you will know, you'll be able to fish, who is doing right from wrong. But we invite you to the draft tomorrow, because that is the one main activity that is going to support our government, to carry on its leadership. Frozen. So
all right.
Is hosting, but please, everybody from every zone should be at this draft. And if you have started your draft, please try and complete it. Let us make it a massive boom. We know that La Republique is out to stop, the transmission of ABC, because they know that this is the number one thing that encourages our people and tells them that, hey, the game is on. The game is on. So please come out in your numbers. See you tomorrow, and let's draft and shut La Republique off our territory once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yaya. It was a pleasure having you as my guest on the Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. I am really thankful that you are staying the course. You're brilliant. You give a lot of information, and I'm looking forward to another program with you in the near future. Ladies and gentlemen, Ambazonians all over the world, all over the diaspora, we are staying the course. This is a just cause. We are on the right path, and we just have to persevere. We just have to give all we have financially, our time, our energy, our knowledge, our know-how to make sure we get to Boya. And remember that all those lost souls, the Mami Appies, the baby mothers, baby Brandy, Sam Sawyer, all those that have gone ahead should not have gone in vain. The only way to get some sort of justice for all those lost lives is to touch our feet in Boya and govern ourselves as a people. So don't be afraid of everything that is going on. The indictment of people that are causing harm to our people, like Eric Tato and the Choayabas. Don't be afraid of that. Stay the course. If you remember that there's a war between Ukraine and Russia, and Ukraine is standing its ground, and the government of America is supporting Ukraine to make sure that they get all that they need. So what more of Ambazonia that also has the right as a people? When you think about that, you know you're on the right path. There's no need to be afraid. Very, very much so. And also, we don't want people to be rogue individuals doing things under themselves that are not what a government will do. So you are under the government, you are safe. With that said, I want to thank you all. And again, as Dr. Yaya said, please come join us tomorrow during the Atlantic draft and continue serving your people. And have a great weekend. Thank you so much. This is my Patience, the voice of the Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman. Thank you so much.
You are watching The Horizon, the voice of the Amber Woman, exclusively on ABC Amba TV.